everyone, Joey here. Let's talk 6 tips to get the most out of your AYN Thor. First up, you do know that white line on the right side can be turned transparent, right? You don't want to turn this off completely, you just want to make it transparent because it actually has a super useful function. So swipe down, scroll over, and click the arrow next to floating icon. It might take you a few times to hit it properly. You're going to see a transparency bar. Slide it all the way to 0. No more white line. But let's now look at why we're doing that instead of turning it off completely, and how you can use it. Let's open up GameHub. It is a great example. Slide in from the right, and this is the floating icon menu. You can see key adapter here, which you would use to map on-screen controls to your controls. Not that necessary nowadays since Genshin Impact has actual controller support, but there are still some games that need that. You can see your brightness, you can tap the FPS logo, and it'll show up in the top left from now on, or you can see your temperature and usage. But the big thing here is the bottom part. Tap Gamepad, and you can set the controller style to use for this app. So it is GameHub, which are modern games, and I want the Xbox layout to be used when we're using GameHub. L2 and R2 mode, I've never had a reason to change, so I leave it as follow global. Next is the performance mode. What performance mode should GameHub use when we're in it? I usually use performance, but it is your call. Last is the fan mode. What fan mode should we use in GameHub? I keep it on smart, but again, this is your call. Do this with any apps that you want to customize these options for. So I personally usually do it for GameHub, and then Artemis, I'll do the same settings, but then I'll do RetroArch as well, because I wanted to have the Nintendo layout, and I want to be in standard performance mode, so it's not using up a lot of battery. You can see how this is super powerful to get per app settings for all of this stuff. MelonDS has a new UI and changes for dual screen users. Unfortunately, it is different than my setup guide, and likely not the finished version either. So even though I'm going to show you this in this video, it is likely going to change at some point in the future. But let's take a look at what it's like right now. Head over to Settings, then Video, and change the internal screen layout back to default if you already made a new one from my setup video. Make sure that external display screen is set to bottom screen, and then change external screen layout back to default too. Go ahead and click Dual Screen Presets, and you want to set it to the second one, which is internal top, external bottom. Then checkmark Keep DS Aspect Ratio if you don't want to stretch the images, because you're not a monster. There's also a new setting called Integer Scale, if you want to integer scale the screens. This is actually what I have been personally using since I've got it. Now, as long as you selected one or both of those checkboxes, you can change the fill area options. So maybe you want to stretch the bottom screen because you're half a monster, or you want to stretch the top screen and not the bottom because you're a full monster. You have options here. Or it is hard to see, but there is vertical alignment. So maybe you want to align the screen bottom and top, or both top, or just leave them center. You can do all of this in-game too by pushing the back button in-game and heading to dual screen presets. Focus mode is really one of the most powerful tools that we have here, and you should use it. Push the AYN button and then tap the furthest left toggle for focus mode. In auto mode, whatever screen that you tap on is where the controls work. But for things like where there's a guide bottom, you want focus top where the game is. That makes it so that the buttons and the controls only work for the game at the top, and you can scroll the bottom with your finger without affecting the game at the top. Super useful. I basically just leave this to set top forever, but it's up to you. Now, you've likely seen me use an app called Solid Explorer in all of my videos. It is a paid app. There are free alternatives out there, but this is the best. You should pay for this. What you may not know is how I actually use it. So yeah, right off the bat, it is super cool to have one side of the screen and then the other side of the screen, and you can easily move and copy and paste files in your internal storage to each side. But what if the right side of your screen was actually your actual PC desktop, where your ROMs and saves are that you keep stored on your computer? So you don't need to get up and go and plug in a USB cable to transfer things. You can just do it wirelessly. Now, you might need a Windows local account to do this. Those of you with a Microsoft account, I am not sure how this works for you, but I do know that it's been working for some people. To do this on your Windows PC, and again, I have Windows 11, so I can only offer settings for Windows 11, head to Network and Internet, Properties of whatever network you're connected to, and it should be on the private network. Head back and under Advanced Network Settings, Advanced Sharing Settings, under the current profile, make sure that all three are enabled. Now, you can share a drive or a folder on your network so that other devices like other PCs or Android devices can see it. I usually just do drives, but you can do folders. What you have to do is right-click, go to Properties, Sharing, Advanced Sharing, share this folder, click Permissions, and then allow full control for everyone. Click Apply, and then OK, and exit out. In Solid Explorer, click the plus icon, New Cloud Connection, then LAN SMB, and you should now see your PC show up in the list. Select it, and then click Next. Enter your username and password, and then click Next. For username and password, this is going to be your Windows username and password. It'll be the login that you use to sign into your PC. Microsoft account users can try their Microsoft account login, which would be your email and then whatever password. Then just click Next, Next, and tap the green check mark. If you get any pop-ups at this point, just click Nope to it. Now, if you hit the three lines top left, you can choose your PC, and now you can transfer files back and forth from your internal storage Android device to your PC, and that's awesome. Charging separation is a useful feature for those of you that are next to a power source or that are frequently docking your AYN Thor and you want to just save your battery. Swipe down and turn on charging separation. Your device is now going to stop charging the battery, and instead it is going to charge the device directly. This helps to avoid heat, battery degradation, and so on. If you ever dock your device, you want to turn this on. Last tip of the day is consider the TPU Shell. I find it to be a lot better than the grip. Although they serve two different purposes, I just don't even bother with the grip anymore. The TPU Shell, to me, feels like a TPU case that you put on your phone. It helps to make it more grippy, it helps with keeping the device safe, and so on. Personally, this is a must-have. I can't go back to non-TPU shells, and it looks fantastic on white. I would rate the TPU Shell highly over the grip, which over time I've just not used at all. That's all I have for you today. Share some of your awesome tips in the comments to help everybody out if you have them. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about handhelds like this one. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.